success. It was the year he released Thriller. It sold a record 51 million copies. 7 of its tracks went to number 1, another record. He'd come a long way in Robin. He'd begun performing with his brothers when he was just 5 years old. They'd been brought up in the steel town of Gary, Indiana, and by the late 60s, they'd become stars. Later in his life, he described his childhood as sad and lonely and claimed his father whipped and mocked him. But it didn't stop him performing. By the 80s, he'd gone solo and become the biggest star in the world. It was dance music with rock guitars, black music that white America was happy to listen to. While he continued to sell millions, this was his peak both creatively and commercially. He even managed to outbid Paul McCartney when he bought the publishing rights to thousands of songs, including many by the Beatles. But increasingly, it was the man more than the music that interested people. Some of it might simply have been showmanship, such as his close attachment to a chimpanzee called Bubbles, and rumours that he slept in a hyperbaric chamber. But his appearance suggested something deeper. His face changed shape and colour. Some of it he put down to a skin condition, and he admitted to 2 facial operations. Others suspect there were many more. And then there was his domestic life. He married the daughter of Elvis, Lisa Marie Presley. 19 months later, they divorced. His first 2 children, Prince Michael and Paris Michael, came after his marriage to Debbie Rowe, a nurse who was said to be helping him with his skin condition. And a 3rd child, Prince Michael II, appeared several years later. He may have been prepared to dangle the baby out of a hotel window. He was rather more reluctant to say who the mother is. Of course, throughout all this, he did continue to release records, but critically and commercially, he'd passed his peak. But it didn't stop him spending more and more money on the videos and recordings. Indeed, he became more famous for spending money than for making it. He'd become an odd-looking, middle-aged man whose favourite pastimes were water balloon fights and climbing trees. It was a world of celebrity friends, adoring fans, and endless legal battles. The child star without a childhood had become an adult rebelling against adulthood. But behind the scandals, the lifestyle, and the showmanship, an extraordinary career, the first black star of the MTV generation. A 250 million albums, the most successful artist of the last 30 years.